Does this look unprofessional enough for you? Is my lighting bad enough? Is the background distracting enough? You know, I am really annoyed at the moment. I just watched a woman who's in a retirement, and she films a YouTube video on her cell phone with a bad background and bad audio and terrible lighting, and she's monetized within a few months. I've had this channel for nearly 3 years now. I've got all this fancy camera gear, and I learned as much as I could about video, and I'm not monetized yet after nearly three years. And you've got people going out there, and some guy in 2 weeks, you post an interesting enough video and he's monetized in 2 weeks. And that's got me rebelling against technology. I've got all this fancy camera gear. I've got a 32-bit float audio that I was recording on. Right now I'm recording this on an action camera and this little Bluetooth microphone. And I've got the little fluffy thing on to annoy people who say you shouldn't use it when it's not windy. So this is what this is about. I'm just fed up with the situation where I'm at. And I just want to tell you that used camera gear is going to get a lot cheaper. It's not only me. I'm going to sell some of the stuff. I'm going to sell most of it. But I think more and more people are realizing that there's too many videos on YouTube with fancy fluff and special effects and perfect lighting and camera gear. And that's good for some people depending on what you're publishing. But there's so many people out there that just want to hear some normal person talking about normal everyday life, something that relates to them, as opposed to discussing the latest camera gear and why it'll make you rich. You know, you get these videos where people are talking, oh, well, I use the Sony A7 Mark 62 with 200 megapixels, and I like a f1.0 lens, prime lens, because it gives me that 5% better quality if you zoom into 500% in the corners, and it lets in more light and it blurs the background more. And people don't go on these videos to see how blurry the background is. They want to be entertained. They want to see something useful. And we've also got more reviews coming out on things like a DJI Pocket, Osmo Pocket 4. That one came out recently. And now the 4P with 2 lenses. And you've got quite a few people going on there and saying, this device has replaced my Sony professional camera. And I'm not trying to say that all photographers are going to do this, but you can have a lot of people who couldn't be bothered with changing lenses and getting dust on their sensor and worrying about whether they're in focus and the background's blurry. People are going to be dumping this camera gear. They're going to get something like an action camera or a DJI Pocket or the Insta360 Luna, whatever it is, with 2 lenses. Those are the 2 ones competing at the moment. And the more I think about it, the more I realize how much sense that makes. I've got this old GH4 camera. I've got 2 GH4 bodies. I thought, you know what, I'm 4 years away from possible retirement. I need to supplement my income. Maybe I'll video weddings and things, and I'll hold on to this stuff. But it's not worth holding on to this old stuff anymore. It's going to be obsolete when something 10, 15 years newer is going at the same price. I could probably get $250 for this camera body if I sold it. The lens is very good. It's the Panasonic 7-14mm lens. When I've got it on here and I'm doing a video, I normally face the other way because it looks more professional. But I've got the background jumping back and forth on the autofocus, and I've got to put on manual focus. You don't worry about that with these new technology. The action camera, it doesn't even focus. Everything's in focus at such a wide angle. The DJI cameras, they've got a built-in gimbal. Who wants to carry around a huge gimbal there with the camera balanced on it that they've got to adjust and get it working perfectly before they use it? Then it doesn't work properly and they've got to rebalance it. When you just pick up a little pocket thing like that and film it, if the content is good, no one's going to say, oh, was that a full frame sensor? Was it a prime lens? Well, it is on a Pocket 4 or whatever device like that. But all they care about is the content. And that's exactly what I noticed lately on these people that are getting monetized quickly. A lot of them are older people just suddenly deciding to have a YouTube channel to keep themselves busy, and they're doing really well. and they're not worrying about all this fancy gear. I'll be selling this other GH4 body as well, 14-140 lens. I'll probably keep my GH4 just in case I'm going to photograph a wedding or something for someone. But in a few years, in another 4 years time, when I'm ready to retire, if I want to go out and photograph weddings, I'll pick a Sony A7 Mark IV with a decent lens on it for the same price as I'll get for these things when I sell them. Because you mark my words, a lot of people are going to be dumping their fancy camera gear in favor of these little portable options that have absolutely everything without any worries in them. No worries about dust getting on the sensor or balancing your gimbal and stuff like that, because this modern technology is really taking over well. This my cell phone camera, this is a cheap Samsung A22 with not a very good review on the cameras. This will do a better job at the autofocus with good lighting in here than this old Panasonic GH4 that was the best of its day. So that's the rant I'd like to make. I'm just checking my notes because hopefully that also looks very unprofessional, and because that seems to be what's selling the videos these days. But I can see there was nothing else I wanted to add to that. That's my rant for the day, and I just want to get it out there that watching these videos recently has made me really annoyed at how much time I have wasted trying to worry about this fancy camera gear when something as simple as a little action camera or a DJI Pocket 3 or 4 could do a better job, and people don't care about obsessing about image quality if the content is good. And that's basically what I'm saying, is that just get out there, make good content. Later on, if your content is good, add the lighting, add the camera gear if you want it. But you don't need fancy gear to get monetized. I think more and more people are realizing this, and more people are going to be dumping this fancy camera gear they didn't need when something really handy like the Pocket 3 or 4 comes out, and they can get them cheaper. And professional photographers will want to keep their fancy gear for a long time. But there's so many people out there with fancy gear like this that didn't really need it, that are going to sell it. Used camera prices are going to drop rapidly within the next few months. In a year's time, this camera that's worth maybe $500 now will be worth $200, but I'll be able to get a camera 10 times better for $500.